Welcome to Adam Does Movies Live. It's Friday. I'm getting excited. The holidays, it's here. It's basically here. A couple more weeks till Christmas, Hanukkah, other holidays I'm not familiar with. It's all good. I celebrated today actually by driving up to meet my buddy Matt, and we went to Die Hard in theaters. First time I had the opportunity to see it in theaters, and it was pretty awesome. I had a good time with my buddy. I will say, it holds up impeccably well. I love Bruce Willis. Alan Rickman is the definitive villain in a film, but I'm a little disappointed there was no updates to the quality of the movie. Maybe there was some better sound. I'm not sure. I didn't notice. But visually, I feel like my version at home is higher quality than what I saw in the theaters. So that was a bummer. I was hoping for a higher 4K output, but that's not what I got. Regardless, it was great seeing it in the theaters. I'm glad I did. It was a fun experience. What do I have for housekeeping? Not much. This is going to be a shock to none of you, a little behind on schedule. I put out a lot of videos this week, but I had other stuff I wanted to get to that I didn't. You can find my review for The Boy and the Heron. I was very disappointed with that. You can find a review for what it was, Silent Night. There's a bunch of new stuff on the channel. Just I wanted to get some more of my roast videos. And that reminds me, I said I would have a roast for The Matrix and The Last Jedi by the end of the year. I'm still hoping to do that. But in the meantime, I have 2 Christmas roasts I want to throw in before them to hit the holidays. I just watched what did I just watch? Well, I watched The Grinch, I watched Frosty the Snowman, and I watched Rudolph with my family over the last couple of days. Rudolph's like 45 minutes long. Frosty's 25 minutes long. I'm going to roast Frosty and Rudolph in 2 different videos, and I'm going to have a ball doing it because those movies are hilarious. I still have a good time watching them, but man, it'll be fun to make fun of too. In jest, in a fun holiday way. So look for those probably next week. I'm already taking notes. I'm already getting the scripts put together. And then hopefully I can get some of that other stuff done. Now let's get to the big thing of the night. And that's going to be talking about what's down the road after the holidays in 2024. What do we have to look forward to? I did not prepare a list. Rotten Tomatoes did it for me. What would the internet be if it wasn't for just taking other people's content? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at this list. We're going to go through it and see which one of these films are naughty and which ones are nice. And what we think ultimately they're going to make at the box office, or if they're going to succeed, fail, and the excitement level for them. Name of the game here is always Super Chats. If you have a couple bucks to spare, throw them out. I feature your comment on the video during the live stream. I say, hey, so-and-so gave $5. His most anticipated movie for 2024 is Madam Web, or whatever the hell that terrible movie is called. Excited for that film. Thank you for the shout out. And then we move on with our lives. To keep this moving, I will probably just do Super Chats once in the middle and then once at the very end. If you have a movie-related question or comment, throw it at a Super Chat. Okay, let's begin. I'm going to share the screen. Here we go. All right, Rotten Tomatoes put together a list of the most anticipated movies. Now, I don't know how complete this list is. I'm just going off of them. We could be missing stuff. It could be definitive. It's really hard to know. It's really hard to guess, but I'm going to go with it. Okay. In January, we have Mean Girls. This is maybe the most puzzling film on the list to start things out. This is how do you even describe this movie? I believe it's based on Tina Fey's musical play version, the Broadway play of her original movie. So it has updated humor, I guess, for the new generation. Obviously, a new cast of actresses, but it's legitimately the same film again with some tweaks. It's the same story, same plot with some different humor mixed in. The trailer looks terrible. I laughed 0 times, and I believe it's written. Is it written by? I think it's written by Tina Fey. It doesn't say on this one. It's directed by Arturo Perez. I don't know who that is, and Samantha Jane. 0 laughs to be found. I'm not looking forward to this at all. Tina Fey, I guess, reprising her role as the teacher here, it looks like, or maybe she's the principal this time around. No desire to watch it, but I will see it to review it. That's all they have marked for January, so it's going to be a tough month. That's usually when movies get shat out to die. Not a surprise they're putting Mean Girls here. In February, we have a very interesting movie called Argylle. This trailer's been all over. This is a Matthew Vaughn vehicle. He's done some decent movies. He did the Kingsman trilogy. I think he did the first 2. I don't actually know if he did Kingsman. I hated Kingsman. Kingsman 2 was very sketchy. I liked it more than I hated it, but it was very Spy Kids-esque compared to the first one, which was a little bit more grounded, I thought. He also did Kick-Ass, and I think he's doing a Kick-Ass reboot again. So he's back on Kick-Ass again. But for the meantime, we have Argylle. Oh, and he also did, I think, X-Men First Class. I'm pretty positive he did X-Men First Class. Argylle looks very zany. This looks like Spy Kids 3. I'm sorry, this looks like Kingsman 3. It's a murder mystery thriller action film with a lot of people. You have Bryce Dallas Howard, you have Sam Rockwell, Henry Cavill, Dua Lipa. I was already interested when Dua showed up. You had my attention, and you kept it when Bryan Cranston was thrown in. I am tentatively excited for this one. I think it's going to be a good time, but I could also see it being a very steamy, hot mess. Oh, God. Here's the one that everybody's waiting for. Madame Web. Madame Web, what are we on? The 4th Dark World Spider-Verse bullshit that Sony's making. This might be the 5th. We had Venom. We have Venom 2. We have Morbius. No, we have Craven, which isn't out yet. And we have Madame Web. This rogues gallery of Spider-Man villain anti-hero films that Sony are putting out are atrocious in my eyes. I don't like any of them. Venom 1, passable at best. Venom 2, let there be garbage, horrifically bad. Morbius, of course, the feel-good film of the year, terrible. This first trailer is abysmal. It's abysmal. It looks awful. I don't want anything to do with it outside of Sydney Sweeney being there. I don't think Sweeney's going to save this one. S.J. Clarkson directed. Okay. Not familiar. In March, Dune Part 2. There's Timothée Chalamet driving all the girls crazy. I like Dune. I enjoyed the first part. I can't say I was Lady Gaga over it, but I was into it. We will see if it can stick the landing with part 2. Dave Bautista was a good time. Josh Brolin, was he in the first part? It feels like Dune Part 1 came out 17 years ago, but it came out during the COVID times, I believe. And yeah, I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic. The director has done some amazing work in the past. I can never say his last name. Denis Villeneuve, something French or something fancy. He does good stuff. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Kung Fu Panda 4, 2024. Is this also in March? Kung Fu Panda 4, Poe and the gang are back. I really like the Kung Fu Panda movies. The trilogy's solid. Third one, just like How to Train Your Dragon, I think is the weakest entry of the two. And I also think How to Train Your Dragon 2 and Kung Fu Panda 2 are the strongest in the trilogy. We'll see if 4 can really knock it out of the park. I don't think we're getting any more How to Train Your Dragons. Actually, oh God, we're getting a live action How to Train Your Dragon. That's what's coming next. Because Disney set the tone, and I guess DreamWorks is going to oblige. DreamWorks is presenting Kung Fu Panda 4. Do we have any synopsis on this one? DreamWorks Animation's Kung Fu Panda series is quietly incredible, taking what could have been a silly premise that's just a bunch of nonsense. Okay, they don't know anything, so they're just blowing smoke up our ass. Jack Black's back, Angelina Jolie, Jackie Chan, the whole crew's coming back. Okay, we have also in, what month are we in here? March. Oh, you know what? Before I jump too far down, I should point out I was gonna anticipate box office. Mean Girls, I think, is going to do decent numbers. I don't think it's gonna do Barbie numbers by any means. I think I'm thinking maybe I think it's going to do well. I'm going to say $120 million box office. I imagine the budget for this thing is nothing, very, very slim. It's going to make its money back and some for sure. Yeah, I'm guessing mid 100 million. Argyle, I don't think is going to do well. And keep in mind, my predictions are always god awful dirt. They're trash. My predictions are, but I'm going to say Argyle's not going to do that well. It's got a lot of big names in it, but this movie looks like it costs a pretty penny. I'm going to throw it somewhere in the, let's go 200 million. Madame Web is going to bomb miserably, just like all these other new Sony movies that aren't Venom, that aren't related to Spider-Man. I'm going to say this thing doesn't even pull in $100 million. I'm going to say this is a 75 million. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Dune, I don't know if that's also going to be a day-and-day release with Max or if it's going to hit the theater scene first, because the first part, I believe, came out the same day on both. Dune's going to do well enough. I'm going to put it at $350 million. Kung Fu Panda 4 is going to freaking break the internet. This bad boy is going to pull in, I'm not going to do $1 billion, but I'm going to say, I wish I knew what the box office was for the other Kung Fu Panda 3 box office. 521 million. Interesting. I thought it would have done better than that. I'm going to put Kung Fu Panda 4 $500 million. 500 million, full stop. Without seeing a trailer. All right, we have Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, aka Ghostbusters Afterlife 2. I'm not a big fan of the first film. I think it's incredibly mediocre. I know a lot of people really like this one. They thought it was a return to form, or at least taking the series in a good direction. This trailer was decent. Still not funny. I guess it's not a comedy at all anymore, like the originals, which is fine. This looks okay. I like the idea of people being scared to death. That's a fun concept. This one's going to do well. This one's going to do well. How good did the first one do? I should have been doing this every time. Ghostbusters Afterlife box office. 204 million. Wow. That is a lot less than I thought it was going to do. I'm going to put this one at, wow. I'm going to put this one at 180 million. Full stop. 180 million. That's what I'm going to say. Okay, and I don't think it's going to be, I think it's going to be better than the first one. I'm going to say it's going to be better than the first one because now they found their footing. They got their cast. They're going to be able to incorporate would be the more appropriate. They're going to be able to incorporate the OG cast into this one more. without making it feel so forced, I think. I hope. Mickey 17. Robert Pattinson, Tony Collette, Mark Ruffalo. I don't know what this is. South Korean director Bong Joon. Oh, okay. This is the guy that did Parasite, I believe. And no, he didn't do The Host. I think it's the Parasite director. Yeah, yeah. Okay, it says it right there. If I would have just kept reading. I don't know what this is about. I'm in. I'm all in. I have no idea what this movie will make without seeing anything on it. Parasite probably did pretty well, but not like anything record breaking. Probably, we'll say 100 million. We'll say 100 million without knowing anything about it. Let's see if any super chats have come in. Just one so far. Shot out of a cannon, Big Kahuna, $2. I'm all in for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Very happy about this film. Thank you, Big Kahuna. April. This is going to get a lot of people very excited, I think. We have Godzilla X Kong, the new Empire. Okay. We got a kaiju fights going on. I did watch this trailer. Didn't feel the need to react. I thought it looked pretty stupid. I think it's no pop secret that I'm not a huge Godzilla guy. I want to be. I keep going to these films and watching the ones that I think are going to be great, and I'm disappointed every time. So I guess that's just not my cup of tea. This movie looks kind of wretched, but maybe it will be dumb fun. I wanted to like the last one, Kong v Godzilla, or whatever that was called. I did not like that movie. Out of this new the American Monsterverse, I have really liked Kong. I thought Kong was fantastic. Really good time. I've seen that a couple times. I enjoyed Godzilla King of the Monsters, I think. The last standalone Godzilla movie, that the American one. But I don't love that one either. But those two are decent. This last Godzilla Kong movie was so stupid and nonsensical. I just couldn't get on board. This one looks to be even, we got Barbie Godzilla here. Is that what I'm looking at? We'll see. I'll go. I hope I'm surprised. I hope it's great. Oh, okay. We have Is this Challengers? Oh yeah, Challengers. I got to make a side note. And I guess I don't. Whatever. Zendaya, people are really into her. She looks just so frail, like I could break her with one finger. So I don't get the sexy appeal. I don't get the sexual appeal of Zendaya. That's probably a good thing for me. I feel so much older than her. So that's probably okay that I don't get it. But Challengers is her new movie, and she's, I believe, a tennis player, and there's two guys that are craving for her. They want her badly, so it's going to be this game of chess, or I guess really this game of tennis, as they volley back and forth trying to win her approval and their heart or something. Yeah, this looks pretty terrible. I'm sure the teens will be into it. Maybe, I don't know, teens out there, you into this film? Let me know. Zendaya, obviously a very pretty actress, but as far as the sex appeal, she just doesn't do anything for me in that, and that's okay. She doesn't have to. That's not her job. I'm just speaking, like, I don't get it. The same way I don't get how Adam Driver is, he's throwing out sex appeal either. But that's fine. Different strokes for different folks. May, the Fall Guy. David Leitch, is that how you say that? David Leitch? David Leitch? Leash, like a dog leash. David Leitch is back. I just saw the trailer for The Fall Guy for the first time today at Die Hard. I'd never seen a trailer for it. It looks really fun. The trailer was like 35 minutes long, though. I don't know why it was so freaking long. It looks like a good time. You got Emily Blunt, Ryan Gosling, Baby Goose. He's a stunt actor who's gonna have to actually put himself out there in front of the camera for all to see. And it's obviously a love story too between him and Blunt's character. I'm digging it. I think it'll be a good time. Oh, I didn't get box office for some of these. Box office on Godzilla X Kong is going to be challenging because the last one was also a Max double feature with the theater. I'm going to put this bad boy at 600 and I'm going to put this at no. We're going to go half a bill for this one. We're going to go $500 million for Godzilla X Kong. It's going to be a success. It's not going to be an amazing success, but I think it's going to do well. Challengers, this is a indie film. I don't think it's going to be anything major. Maybe throw this thing at $80 million. Fall Guy is going to do solid numbers. I'm going to put this one at 350 mil. Let me just throw in all these random numbers out like I know anything at all. If, new film by John Krasinski. Ryan Reynolds, John Krasinski, okay, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Steve Carell, Emily Blunt, his wife, Aquafina. There it is. Aqua fucking Fina. She continues to find me. She continues to haunt me. I don't get her appeal. On any level, I don't get her appeal. But, you know, Pauly Shore was able to make it in the industry for many years, and I didn't understand that either. Larry the Cable Guy found his place. So I guess she's in company there. Maya Rudolph's in that, too. I like Maya Rudolph. What's the synop here? Short for synopsis. John Krasinski and Ryan Reynolds, both of whom also star in the film, by the way. Okay. Developed this fantasy comedy, also written by Krasinski, about a young girl who learns she has the ability to see imaginary friends, hence the title, If. Oh, short for imaginary friends. Okay. That have been abandoned. Reynolds and Krasinski are joined by massive voice cast. A massive voice cast. Interesting. Is this animated? Very curious. Furiosa. We have the new George Miller movie. The trailer did not do much for me. Oh, by the way, we gotta say what If's gonna make. I keep forgetting to do this. I think I'm gonna like Fall Guy. If, I think I'll probably like, just based on Krasinski's track record, which isn't huge by any means, but I like Quiet Place 1 and 2, so I'm interested. I think If's probably, if it's animated, yeah, with that big of a cast, we'll probably throw out 600 million. We'll just throw 600 million out there to be safe. Furiosa, Anya Taylor-Joy, I love her. I think she's fantastic. I don't really want to see her as this character. I really like Charlize Theron. She played that part so good. She's not too old for the character. She could have pulled this off so effortlessly. Anya, fine, I guess. The look of this movie, though, is very heavy on the digital side. I know the last one had a ton of practical and digital effects. They were like throwing mountains in and animating all sorts of stuff. But this one looks, I mentioned this already, but Spy Kids, this looks really fake. And it looks very familiar to the last movie. Back in the desert, the cars, the dude playing the guitar. I don't know. This trailer didn't do much for me, but Mad Max Fury Road is freaking awesome. I love that movie, so obviously I'm going to give this one a shot. As far as box office pull, you have Hemsworth and Joy, which are big names. You got Miller attached. I'm going to say 500,000 for this one, too. I'm going to just throw random numbers at this point. I think it's going to do fine. Oh, God. Garfield, 2024. Chris Pratt voices Garfield, as we all know. Garfield has a very fun-loving, jovial, ready to take on the day voice, which is what I heard in that first Garfield trailer. Garfield's supposed to be macabre. He's supposed to be down on things. He's very dry, very sarcastic, very witty. That trailer had nothing to do with Garfield. It was the equivalent of Benedict Cumberbatch as the Grinch in the Illumination Grinch movie, which I like, which my family likes. But Benedict sucked as the Grinch. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say that. I love the Patch. I love Cumberbun, but he sucked as the Grinch. Movie's fine. Garfield will probably be mediocre at best. I'm guessing it'll do decent numbers. You know what? What did the Peanuts movie bring in? The Peanuts movie box. I think that kind of bombed, which was a shame because the movie was great. All right, Peanuts brought in 246 million. How is that even a failure? That's got to be a decent pull. I'm going to put Garfield at around the same. I'm going to say Garfield does 250 million. I think Garfield's about as relevant as the Peanuts characters for a new generation. It's going to be up to mom and dad to bring people in. This one looks epic. We do have some super chats. Let's take a little break so I can get to them. Shadow Humor for $5. Thank you, Shadow Humor. We need more horror movies, psychological ones. I agree. I do agree, sir. And looking at this lineup, I don't think there's been a single horror movie on this list yet, but again, this is box office, big, big pulling films. They're not necessarily going to have some of the smaller stuff. I will be interested to know what happens with Scream, if they're going to even get that done for Halloween or what they're going to do. Not that that's a psychological thriller by any means. It's just a murder mystery whodunit. I would like to see more psychological ones, though. James D for $2. Thank you, James. Godzilla of the 70s and 80s rock. I might just have to give him a chance, but honestly, James, do you think a guy, in his early 40s who didn't grow up with Godzilla the same way a lot of the fans did, do you think I'm going to watch that and be like, yep, this is fantastic? Or do you think that there's a heavy amount of nostalgia and growing up with that character that makes you, look at it in a different light? Because I feel like watching a 70s Godzilla today, for someone that has no real connection to that character or have anything to really, use as a historical landmark for a time and place where I was, I'm just going to be like, well, okay, maybe it will. Maybe I will like it. It's hard to know. I have watched some really old movies recently, and I was appreciative of them, and I understood what makes them so great. So it's possible I can give them a shot. Thank you for the super chat. Last one here from Kyle Nelson for $5. Thank you, Kyle. Mufasa, The Lion King is set to release on December 20th, 2024. The new story will be a prequel to the 2019 live action movie. Yeah, Kyle, I know. I can't. I can't with this shit. That last Lion King movie was atrocious. It's probably on this list coming forward, but if it's not, thank you for bringing it up, because I would have obviously forgotten. I'm not really thinking about what's coming out next year off the top of my noodle. Rotten Tomatoes is taking the wheel on this one. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. May. Are we still in May? May 24th. Yes. Caesar, who, spoiler if you don't know, is not in this one because he didn't make the cut after the last film trilogy ended. Looks like his son's maybe taking the lead here. I'm trying to see if it tells us. Is that Blue Eyes, or is this set? However, there's more monkey business to be had. Oh, God. Wes Ball, who helmed the Maze Runner films, directs the fourth film, which takes place many years after the events of war. Interesting, because I recognize some of the characters in this, unless they're just siblings and they look very similar, which is a possibility. I don't know how long your average ape lives for. Imagine it's not much different than human. Especially these ones are hybrids, they've been modified. They can speak our language now. They're walking on two legs. This trailer is really good. I'm a little concerned hearing that it's the director of the Maze Runner films, but we will see. We will see. I'm cautiously optimistic. I don't think any of the Apes movies set the world on fire with their box office pull, but they do well enough to keep making them. War for the Planet of the Apes box office. Okay, so War made $490 million. I think this one's going to do worse. I'm going to put this one at 400 million. It's going to make money. It's going to do enough, I think, to keep the trilogy going, but I don't think it's going to do as well as the final installment of the last trilogy. No Caesar, no interest for some people, I think. Also, the amount of time that's passed between these movies, it's a long one. It's a long one. You're going to confuse audiences who might think this is part of that original trilogy, and they're not invested. All right, June. Ballerina. This is the Ana de Armas film set in the John Wick universe. Wait, it says Keanu Reeves is in it, and so is Ian McShane and Lance. Okay. Norman Reedus is in this? Angelica Houston. I believe Angelica Houston is Morticia Addams in the Addams Family movies. I should probably look that up. Let me make sure. I'm almost positive. Yeah, it is. All right. She was in John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. I don't think she was in 4. Apparently coming back, unless these are just name placeholders, which is also possible. I'm going to see anything Ana de Armas is in. Typically not great movies. She's been doing some really shitty ones lately, but I'm in. I'm in for her. I'll stick around because the John Wick team's fantastic. We'll see what they can do with this character. I think revenue wise, what did John Wick Chapter 4 box office? What did they do? 440 million for Chapter 4. I don't think Anna's going to have the same pull. Obviously, it's in the universe, which will help. I'm going to put it at $220 million. 220 is about as exact as I could possibly get. Bad Boys 4? Why? Oh, I remember when this was put on, I thought, permanent hiatus. I thought it was canceled after the Will Smith slap around the world. I guess it's back on. Bad Boys for Life. Bad Boys 3 wasn't great. It was watchable. It was tolerable, but I thought it was a big step down from the first two Michael Bay films. I don't know. Adil El Arbi. Not sure if he did the last one. I don't recognize that director. Coming out June 14th. What's left for these guys to do? You know, what's left for these guys to shoot? Aliens. We're gonna solve the Middle East crisis with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. It's hard to know, but I'm sure they'll get it done. Bad Boys 4, Bad Boys 3 box office. Bad Boys 3 took in, wow, Bad Boys 3 made 426 million. I would not have guessed that much money. All right, well, our dogs are getting pretty old now. I'm going to put this fourth one at 360 million. Will Smith also probably lost some favor with some people, maybe gained it with some other weirdos. You know what? I'm going to say 350 million, full stop. 350 million. I'm being generous right now with that number. Again, not seeing a trailer. It's a risky gamble, but it's one I'm willing to fake. What else do we got? Inside Out 2. Now, the big question on everybody's mind is how woke is this film going to be? I think that's the big concern for a lot of people. I'm joking. Inside Out 1, just known as Inside Out, fantastic movie. I think that upon second and third viewings, it got even better. Very beautifully done. Animation's top notch. Voice acting's great. The story is so good. It's just one that everybody can relate to, especially the ones like myself who relate to a young teenage girl growing up as one. No, I like the emotions. I like the cleverness of it. I like how they jumped into different brains of people. It would have been really fun if the sequel maybe didn't just fully focus on Riley, but if there was a bunch of different kids that this thing was operating under. Maybe it's a group of friends. Would have been really cool if Inside Out 2, or maybe it's 2, playing off the title 2. Maybe it's 2 different kids that the story follows. But it looks like it's going to be Riley only. And Anxiety is joining the crew this time. And Anxiety's got a lot of baggage, hence the literal bags that this character is holding. Anxiety, depression, all the emotions are here. And it's all filtered under this one. I don't know, man. It's going to be really hard to top the first one. In my opinion, that's a movie that probably should not have had a sequel, but Pixar's been doing okay. For the amount of grief they get, if you actually look back on their lineup, for every Buzz Lightyear and Cars 3, or some people like Cars 3, for every Buzz Lightyear and every Cars 2, I think most people hate Cars 2, there is just a treasure trove of brilliant films by this studio, from Finding Nemo to WALL-E to Inside Out to Toy Story to, I mean, there's just so many. Monsters Inc., even Monsters University. I like that they went a different route with it. Inside Out's going to do a lot of money. I think that this thing's going to make, I'm going to put it at $800 million for Inside Out 2. I'll throw out $800 million. A lot of people, pretend to boycott Disney. They hate Disney now. Disney sucks. End of the day, parents are still going to take their bratty little shit kids out to see this film. A Quiet Place Day 1. This is also coming out in June, end of June. Not directed by John Krasinski this time. I don't know if it's even written by him. This is starring Lupita. She's the main character. This is going to be a side spin-off story taking the perspective of a different character when shit goes down. This is a fine idea. I don't know how much they can stretch it. I love Lupita. I think she's great. I like the Inside Out universe well enough, I suppose, to get more stories out of it. Really dug the first two films. We'll see what a new director and a new cast can bring to the table. Quiet Place, let's see what the box office. Quiet Place 2 box office. Quiet Place 2 brought in just shy of 300 million. Kind of surprises me as well how low that is, but it also did come out on the tail end of the big portion of COVID outbreak. With Lupita in the mix, without Krasinski, I feel like you're kind of proing and conning it. I'm going to say 300 million again. I'm going to put this one at 300 million. No, you know what? No, I'm going to back off of that. Untested director, new cast, sidequel. I'm going $220 million. I like that number. It feels good for a few of these movies today. I'm going 220 on this one. I feel good about 220. And I think it's going to be good. I've been not saying whether I think the movie's actually going to be good or not. I do think Furiosa Mad Max Saga it's feeling in my bones like it might be a letdown, but my heart is telling me George will not do me dirty, even if I think the visuals look a little bizarre. I think Furiosa is going to win. It's going to be a good movie. Garfield, I think, is going to be mediocre. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, I think, is going to be good. Ballerina, I think, is going to be great. No, it's going to be good. Bad Boys 4, I think, is going to be mediocre. Inside Out 2, I think it is going to be good. It's going to be good. A Quiet Place Day 1, I think it's going to be good. Despicable Me 4. Just can't quit these Minions. We got 2 Minions movies. We got 4 Despicable Me movies. We got rides at Universal. It's a big deal. These guys are big. They make a lot of money. I bet Despicable Me 3 probably. I'm gonna guess without looking. I haven't clicked enter. I'm gonna guess Despicable Me 3 made $650 million. What? I was way off. Over $1 billion for Despicable Me 3. And Despicable Me 3 is the worst of the series. How much did Minions 2 make? Minions 2 box office. Wow, almost $1 billion. $939 million. These movies are freaking liquid gold. Wow. Well, it doesn't matter what the plot is. It doesn't matter about anything. This movie is going to pull in almost $1 billion. It seems like that's almost a guarantee. Everybody loves the Despicable Me movies and the Minions. And by everybody, I mean me. I like them. Okay. Despicable Me 3, pretty lame, but I like these characters. I like how stupid they are. They're funny. They're colorful. They get in and out. They don't really have any sort of messaging at all. They're just simple, garbage films that everybody can enjoy together. And sometimes that's all you need. It's all entertainment at the end of the day. Okay, Twisters. This kind of, I don't know what to say about this. Twisters, which is the sequel to Twister. You heard me. They're making a sequel to Twister now in 2024. Just what everybody's been craving. Daisy Edgar, I don't know who that is. Daisy Edgar Jones. Glenn Powell. Anthony Ramos. Who are these people? Originally planned as a remake of the 1996 disaster Twister, Twisters eventually took the form as a sequel, and it's being called A New Chapter. Okay, really? All right. Well, Twister's probably going to do well. I think people like a natural disaster movie, or at least they did in the 90s when they came out. I can't even think of the last natural disaster movie. What was the one with The Rock? San Andreas? Was that the last big natural disaster film? And that feels like it was 8 years ago. Twisters is going to do decent numbers. I think people still have an inkling for more disaster films. I'm going to say it's going to make 400 million. Doesn't have a big name director attached. Doesn't really have any. You know what? God, I don't know these people. I think that's going to hurt it a lot. Okay, I do recognize Daisy Edgar Jones, but yeah, she is not like a big name at all. Maybe new generations know these people more. I'm putting Twisters at $150 million for Twisters. How much did Twister make? Twister box. Not that it's relevant in the slightest. I'm just curious. Okay, the original Twister made $495 million. $500 million, basically. And these I don't think have any inflation in the mix. They're not accounting for that. This is just what This is just what Googles are telling me. Googles and goggles are telling me that. Twisters, yeah, 150, 160 bucks seems fair. Deadpool 3, the film that's had more freaking leaks than a 95-year-old Alzheimer patient. Deadpool 3, Sean Levy's back, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, buddy road trip. I'm very excited for this. I think everybody's excited. These Deadpool movies make tons of money. It's now owned by Disney, so they even have a bigger playbook, They have a bigger swimming pool to play in. A lot of characters that they can cameo. That puts a lot of fear in my eyes, honestly. I mentioned this not that long ago. I don't want this to be a cameo fest. I don't want this to just be a look at how many friends we have. There's Taylor Swift. There's the lead singer from REO Speedwagon. There's the Predator. There's, like, it's fine to cameo. That's fun, but it needs to lead to some interesting storylines and jokes. And the joke can't just be, there's Danny DeVito as Mini-Me. There's Tom Cruise as Austin Powers. That works for us because we know these people, but new generations aren't going to know who they are. And over time, that joke is irrelevant and not funny at all on any level. So make it funny, Ryan. I think you can. I'm going to guess. Let's see what Deadpool 2 did. Deadpool 2 box. I'm guessing Deadpool 2 made like 800 million. Wow, I almost got one right. 785 million Deadpool 2 made. With the power of Disney marketing, all the money they're going to throw at this thing, I'm going to put this at $1 billion. I am going to comfortably say this is a $1 billion film in the making. We are at August. Let's check in on the super chat, see if we got any more. Take a break. We did Kyle's. Kyle's back here for $2. Thank you, Kyle. The Iron Claw and Y2K, both from A24, look good. Yeah, Iron Claw's out soon. I think I've already seen people reviewing it somehow. I don't know how people see this shit early. It's not out yet, is it? Let me take a gander. Let me open up my Regal app and see what we have to offer. Here we go. Iron Claw comes out Friday the 22nd. Yeah, so they must have got advanced showings for people. That's nice for people. That's good for them. What in the hell comes out sooner than that? Nothing. When's the stupid Wonka movie come out? December 15th. There's a Monday mystery movie on the 11th. Okay, well, maybe the Monday mystery movie will be Iron Claw. Who knows? I agree, Kyle. It looks good. It's getting really good early buzz. Life is Good for $5. Thank you, Life is Good. I agree mostly, but everything Pratt touches turns to gold. So Garfield equals higher. As whether it's good or not, who knows? Life is Good. You do have a point. Chris Pratt is pretty much spinning gold with everything he puts out. That being said, I just don't think Garfield is something that younger kids are into. Parents, I don't know, care about Garfield anymore. How, you know what's a good litmus test? How good did Garfield movie 1990 when was that? There was 2000 and shit. Garfield Bill Murray. I want to know what the Garfield Bill Murray movies made. 2004. Okay, Garfield movie 2004 box office. 208 million. $208 million in 2004. There was also the sequel, A Tale of Two Kitties, which I imagine did worse. I don't know what I said it was going to make, but 200 million seems like a fair guess. Okay. Big Kahuna, $2. Thank you, Big Kahuna. Oh my God, I hope Disney doesn't ruin the new Deadpool. I don't think they will. I honestly don't think they're going to touch it. I think that they're going to let Ryan do his thing because at the end of the day, Disney wants to make money, even if they have a lot of stupid people working at the company now that think they know what's best. End of the day, they have to make profit, and it seems like they're losing a good chunk on certain properties. They have to get the right ones nailed, and Deadpool 3 is a cash cow for them. They're not going to fuck this one up. They won't. They can't afford to. We have Life is Good gifted 5 Adam Does Movies memberships. Thank you, Life is Good. That's so awesome of you. What a nice little holiday surprise on a Friday night. Really appreciate it. Also, thank you guys for watching. This is fun for me. I think it's fun for some people, and I love that. It's a Friday night. I'm glad that you're spending time with me here. Lots of things you could be doing right now. It's awesome that there's an audience listening, watching, having a good time chatting movies. I really appreciate it. Christian Thacker for $1.99. Shot out of a fucking cannon says, super excited for Dune Part 2. He just cannot wait for this film. Christian, I'm not super excited like you. I am tentatively optimistic. I hope that I can share your excitement when that movie fires up. I do need to rewatch the first part. My wife has not seen it. She doesn't really have any desire, but I'm going to get her on the boat. Side note before I continue, and this really kind of bums me out. I'd like to know if anybody agrees. I watched for the first time, I attempted to watch the, oh my God, I'm going to forget the name now, the Steven Spielberg movie, The Fabelmans. The Fabelmans movie, which is based on Steven Spielberg's life growing up, mostly focuses on the mom, played by Michelle Williams. Dude, this is a long movie. It's 2.5 hours, and my wife and I are just not into it at all. We eventually shut it off at like 12:30 because there's still an hour left, and I was getting tired. I'm just not into this movie at all. I know Michelle Williams was either up for an Academy Award or won it when this film came out. I don't think the movie did well in theaters. It's just a slog to get through, and it's really not that interesting. If they made the movie on Steven Spielberg and his passion for movies and growing up from a kid to an adult and the trials, the tribulations, making those films, that would have been awesome. But so far, this movie is really heavily focused on the mom. She's weird. Michelle Williams is not really doing anything for me in terms of just how she's playing this character, but it's probably, I mean, I'm sure it's true to who it is. It's just, I don't like the character. And I'm not liking this movie, which really hurts to say because Spielberg is one of my favorite directors. He's kind of missed a bit more for me lately as he's getting older, or as I'm getting older, or as we're both getting older. It's hard for me to really get on board with what he's putting out. I will finish it at some point, but I'm just let down by The Fabelmans. I'm let down. All right, we're in August. Borderlands. I feel like this movie was announced 500 years ago. How is this movie still not done? Eli Roth is directing this. He just put out Thanksgiving, the first movie by Eli Roth that I was like, damn, I like this movie. I might like Eli Roth films now. Cate Blanchett's in this, Kevin Hart, Jack Black. Wait, Jamie Lee Curtis? I didn't know she was in this. If you don't know, Borderlands is a cel-shaded, high-octane, loot, first-person shooter. I never got into it. It's very multiplayer, like component-wise. Like that's how you should play the game. Playing it by yourself is kind of miserable. And yeah, I don't have friends and want to play with people online. So playing it by myself, just kind of masturbatory, not great. I'm not into it. there's a few of these games. They all do well. The movie, I guess, is still in the works. It's crazy that it hasn't come out yet, but I guess it's coming 2024. I'm gonna put this film at. I don't have a good feeling about this movie based on how long it's been taking. I'm thinking it's not going to do very well either. I'm going to put it at. I keep 200 keeps jumping into my head for some reason on all of these. I'm going to go $140 million. That's what I'm going to put out. Untitled alien movie for 2024. Really kind of hard to really say anything about that. I from the director of Don't Breathe. That's what you get. I'm gonna move on because there's just not enough to go on here. Kraven the Hunter. Kraven comes out after Madam Web. The trailer was so much earlier than Madam Web. What is happening? Did they move this? August 30th. Originally set to appear sometime in the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man franchise before it was discontinued by Sony, the classic villain's back, baby. Gross. This movie looks terrible. What did Morbius make? Morbius box office. Morbius made 167, which is sad that it even made that much. I'm gonna put Kraven at $150 million. $150 million for Kraven. And I think it's gonna suck ass. I think Borderlands is gonna suck too. I have a feeling it's not going to be good. In September, Beetlejuice, number 2. Michael Keaton's back. Winona Ryder. We have up-and-comer that everybody likes, Jenna Ortega. Catherine O'Hara's coming back? Catherine O'Hara's back, but okay, cool. I love Catherine O'Hara, man. That's great. Willem Dafoe's in this. Monica Bellucci's in this. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Tim Burton's reprising his role as director on this movie. This might be the first film he's made in 1,000 years that I like. Who knows? I'm a big fan of Tim Burton early works, and I'm also a bigger fan of Beetlejuice. Love the first film. It's a classic. A lot of good lines, a lot of good fun, creative elements in this movie. I hope Tim Burton sticks with more practical effects when he can. Puppeteering, and matte backgrounds, and less reliance on the overwhelming amounts of CG he put into so many of his newer stuff, like Willy Wonka, and just every fucking movie he came out with lately. The Alice in Wonderland films, they just look terrible in comparison. The last good movie he made was Big Fish, and I love Big Fish. Transformers 1. Transformers 1. Scarlett Johansson, Chris Hemsworth. Okay, Lawrence Fishburne. We got Lawrence Fish in here. Keegan-Michael Key, who stars in 1,000 movies a year. I think this is animated. The Transformer franchise returns to its roots with an animated prequel that explores the origins of the titular robot's home, Cybertron. I think this movie, I'm going to throw this out. I think this movie's going to be fucking awesome. Based on absolutely nothing. I just have a feeling in my balls that this is going to be an awesome movie. And I hope I'm right. And I hope it makes a bunch of money and we get more of them. Mario made $1 billion. I don't think Transformers has the pull to make that much, but I do think it's going to do pretty solid numbers. I'm going to put it at, let's go $500 million. Let's go 500 million on this thing, and I'm going to like it. Beetlejuice 2, by the way, I keep forgetting to do the numbers. Beetlejuice 2, I'm going to put at, it's got Ortega in it. It's got Michael Keaton reprising his role, although that didn't work out so well for Flash. I'm going to put Beetlejuice at $400 million. It's going to be a success, and I think it's actually going to be good. 400 million for Beetlejuice. It's going to be good. October, there's our boy, Joker. What is this called? Folie à Deux? Folie à Deux? Folie à Deux? I don't know how to say that. It's some French fancy thing, and I'm not fancy or French. Zazie Beetz is in it, so I'm already interested. I guess she was in the first one, too. Lady Gaga, she's going to be a Harley Quinn. Harley Quinzel, whatever the hell, Harleen Quinzel. Here's the deal. Hot take, I guess, which that's what I'm known for now on the internet. Hot takes. I'm not huge on the first Joker. I think it's very, very, very overrated. He's not the Joker to me. He's just a mental patient. And yes, I know Joker fits that description to a T. But Joker to me was always fun because he knew exactly what he was doing. He was a chaos agent. He loved doing it. He was just having a ball, being completely unhinged. Joker, Joaquin Phoenix version, doesn't seem to know what he's doing. He is mentally not all there. And I mean, he's seeing fictitious characters. He has voices in his head. That's just not Joker to me. That's just a guy that's suffering with a lot of really sad, debilitating issues. So I'm really not looking forward to this, although I think Lady Gaga is an interesting choice. I do think she's fun and cool. It's going to do well. The first movie did stupidly well. I'm going to put this one at, I don't think it's going to do as well as the first. I'm going to put it at 700 million. I think there was this kind of excitement for the first movie because it was different and people felt like they were watching something artsy. You know, they thought they were kind of seeing something new for the first time. It's kind of like when you hear, it's kind of like when someone picks up a song on mainstream radio that's actually been out for 5 or 6 years. I can give you a perfect example. I really love Jimmy Eat World. I'm a big fan of their music. They had a song called The Middle, which you're probably familiar with. It was off an early album of theirs. And the song The Middle was out for several years, 4 or 5 years before it got picked up on the radio out of nowhere. And I remember a buddy pulling up in his car, blasting it. He's like, hey, have you heard this band, Jimmy Eat World? I really love them. This song's The Middle. And he felt like he kind of discovered them. And since the song was very different than most of the stuff on the radio at the time, it did feel special. And like this person was kind of discovering plutonium or, you know, something very rare and amazing and dangerous. And that's just not the case. And I think that's how Joker is. It's this mainstream movie that's kind of pretending to be this indie art house film. And I thought it was just fine at best. So yeah, I think there's some of that there. And I think that maybe washed off. And I don't think people are going to be as generous with the sequel. I don't think it's going to do as well. What did Joker 1 gross? Joker box office. Yeah, that made over $1 billion, the first one. I don't think this one's going to crack the billion. I think we're going 700. I could maybe be more generous and say 800 million, but I don't think it's getting $1 billion again. And I think it's going to be, I'm going to say it's going to be bad. I don't think it's going to be better than the first one. Okay, we have Terrifier here. There's Art the Clown. Terrifier 3, opening October 25th. We don't know much about it. I'm guessing Art is back with his little friend, the little girl Art. I don't know her name. I can't remember if they gave her a name in it. I like the Terrifier movies. They're really schlocky. The acting's not good, except for Art himself. He's terrifying in a good way. It got really up its own ass in the sequel with the like lore. The psychedelic nature of it, the sword pulling out of a stone and in hell or whatever was going on. I don't know. I'm along for the ride. I don't think these movies are high art, pun intended, by any means. They're kind of schlocky trash, but they're gore filled, and he's an iconic character now in the slasher universe. And I dig it, and I'm okay with what it is. It's kind of gore porn, and I'm here for it. I think this one's going to be the best of them all. I think with the bigger budget and maybe learning from the last two films, we're going to see a gorier film that's maybe going to be less on the lore side and maybe more on the just straight gore horror side. At least that's what I hope. That's what I'm hoping. This one's also going to make the most money. These movies are getting very popular. It's moving out of that indie phase and it is getting more mainstream, eyes on it. I don't think it's going to be like Scream by any means, but I do think it's going to put up some better numbers than the last two. November. All right, before we do the last two, let's see if we have any more super chats. It looks like we have two more that came in. Maybe just one. Maybe just one came in. Let's get Kyle. Kyle Nelson for $2. Murray couldn't save Garfield. Pratt has no chance. Mm. You know, I didn't see those Garfield movies with Bill Murray. They looked atrocious, but Bill Murray seemed like a freaking perfect voice cast for that character. Probably should have just brought him back for the animated version. But I understand you got to get the youth of today with Chris Pratt, who's got his finger on the pulse. I like Chris Pratt. I'm not knocking Chris Pratt. I just don't think he's the right voice for Garfield. But what do I know? He didn't. He did Mario fine, I guess. Made $1 billion. All right, November, Venom 3. These movies are garbage. I do not like Venom at all. A lot of people give the first one a pass. It's bad. It's just bad. My son loves Venom. Even my son, who's 11 and probably the target market for these films, thinks the second movie is shit. Let There Be Carnage is so bad, and he was so excited for it too. And I was just like, I'll watch it with you, bud, but I just don't know if I can get through it. And I don't even know if we finished it with him. The whole Let There Be Carnage is getting married. It's ridiculous. Well, how much did this shitty second one make? Venom 2 box office. It probably made like $900 million. Okay, 506 million. So not amazing. What did the first one do? Venom. What did the first one do? 800. Okay, I was close. The first one did almost 900 million. 856. Sequel did garbage compared to it. And I think that people are wising up to these now. The first one probably did so well because they were tricked into thinking it was part of the MCU or Spider-Man would show up. Well, Spider-Man hasn't shown up in 2 movies unless they really tease audiences with a Spider-Man cameo or an Andrew Garfield or something. They're not going to this film near as much as the first 2. I'm going to put it at $300 million. That is with the assumption that no Spider-Man's showing up. Now, if we get a trailer that has Andrew Garfield in there, I think we could see that number get quite a bit higher. I think we do see 600 million. I don't think it touches the first, but I could see it doubling from my initial guess at 3 if we get a Spider-Man in there. And I think it's going to be bad because every one of these Sony movies has been bad. Gladiator 2. Oh, God, Ridley Scott, what are you doing to me? Gladiator, of course, a iconic, fantastic film. Russell Crowe, just a total beast. Who's in this one? Is Joaquin Phoenix coming back from the dead? No, we got Denzel Washington, Connie Nielsen, Paul Mescal, Joseph Quinn. Okay. Ridley Scott's return to direct the sequel to the historic epic Gladiator. The story will reportedly revolve around a grown-up Lucius, played by he became emperor, and we'll see the return of Connie Nielsen as, I can never say these names, Lucio from Pokemon, Lugia. I don't care at all about this. Ridley Scott has been so inconsistent lately. Even Napoleon, I was very generous with my review. I gave it mostly positive marks, but there's a lot of problems with that film too. Gladiator 2, I'm just not caring in the slightest. I think it's probably going to be fine. I'm going to say it's fine, and I think it's going to make around, what did Napoleon make? Napoleon box office. Not great. 137 million is what it's looking like so far. Oof. 250 million for Gladiator 2. 250 million. Wicked Part 1. What? The Broadway musical? Ariana Grande? Jonathan Bailey? Part 1? Is this a long play? Whew, we got to milk it, I guess. This is November 27th. I think this is probably going to do very well. You have Ariana Grande in it, which is already enough to sell a lot of people. I'll probably be there just for her. Great voice, beautiful presence. I never saw the Broadway musical Wicked. I know it's incredibly popular. I'm going to put this one at half Oh, you know what? God, if they have a baller song on here, Ariana's gonna have some jams. She's gonna hit YouTube and TikTok hard with some fantastic vocals. It's probably gonna drive people to the theater. I'm gonna put this one at $700 million. I could see it climb even higher if they get the marketing right. And I think it's probably gonna be all right. I think the movie's gonna be all right. December, The Karate Kid. What? Someone told me about this, that this is coming back again with Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan. Is that right? The original Netflix show, yeah, Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan would star alongside each other in the new film as their characters Daniel and Mr. Han. What is going on? What are we doing? So now we're cross-pollinating the OG Karate Kid with with Will Smith's kid. What the hell's that kid's name? Jaden Smith's Karate Kid, where Mr. Miyagi is. This is so weird. They're going to tie these movies together in a new origin story or something. All right, I don't even know what to say about this one. I'm completely at a loss. I didn't see the Jackie Chan one. Maybe he's not Mr. Miyagi. It says he plays Mr. Han. All right. Okay, I don't know. I'm not interested. I'm not interested at all. It could be good, I guess. I'm gonna guess it's bad. I'm gonna throw out a bad, and I'm gonna throw out. I know Karate Kid's popular on Netflix. Is this a Netflix exclusive? Maybe. In which case, I can't even give you a box office number. So I'm not even gonna bother with this one. The Lord of the Rings, The War of the I don't know this word. Rohirrim. The War of the Rohirrim. That's probably butchered. The Lord of the Rings. Warner Brothers' latest film in the Lord of the Rings universe is the animated prequel that follows the exploits of Helm Hammerhead. Okay, I don't care. Oh, they had me until they said animated prequel. Gross. What is it about? The Two Towers, Brian Cox will lend his voice to the central character who reigned 183 years before the events of the Two Towers. No. That's a pass, dog. I'm going to say it pulls in, I don't know what this animated shit's going to pull in, 100 million? Lord of the Rings name on it. It depends. There's too many variables for me to say. This could be a really big budget animated flick, in which case we're talking decent numbers. It could have a lot of action and excitement. I just don't know. I can't put a stamp on that one. There's the Mufasa, the Lion King. Live action in air quotes is returning, 100% CG. We get a prequel of Simba's father, Mufasa. I can only imagine how amazing this film is going to be. That last one was just dead inside. Everything about it was dead, including the eyes of the characters. There was no life to any of it, no soul or energy. Don't care about this movie. I believe the last one almost made $1 million. I think it outperformed the original animated one. The Lion King, the original, made almost $1 billion. This must be accounting inflation. Either that or they're showing the wrong photo. Lion King 2019 box office. Nope. Wow. Holy shit. So the original Disney animated made $968 million. The live action made $1.6 billion. I think it's in the top 10 highest grossing movies of all time. The film had a global debut with the 9th largest of all time and the biggest opening for an animated film. 9th largest. There you have it. Of course they're going to make more. That's insane, the amount of money that fucking thing made. How gross. All right, let's keep going. In December 20th, we have Sonic the Hedgehog 3 okay. This is troubling. Because Jim Carrey was saying he was going to retire and he wasn't going to do any more big movies like this. And I do not see him in the starring category. I see Ben Schwartz, Idris Elba, James Marsden. Where is Jim Carrey? The Sonic the Hedgehog film franchise is speeding right along with the third installment. Blah, blah, blah. Jim Carrey, who played the villainous Dr. Robotnik in the first two, might sit this one out as he's been talking about retiring from acting. But there will be at least one foe giving Sonic a run. Yeah, because Shadow the Hedgehog, who's the black hedgehog, and he does brandish a gun at one point in the video game series. I doubt they're going to give him his gun, maybe his edgy motorcycle because he's got so much edge. Might just be a solo villain this time around with no Eggman to be found. I don't know. Dr. Robotnik, Jim Carrey was kind of the only reason I cared about these movies. You know, I like to go fast, but Jim Carrey's got to be there to help me along for the ride. Maybe he's just doing this to get some more money, but it's not like Jim Carrey's strapped for cash. So who knows? Who knows what's happening? I hope he comes back, but at the same time, I also get it. Nosferatu 2024. Bill Skarsgård, Lily Rose Depp, Nicholas Hoult, Anya Taylor-Joy. We got a big Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe is always just thrown in the mix. December 25th, Robert Eggers, The Witch, The Lighthouse. Oh, okay, we got an interesting director here. Follows up his action epic, The Northman, with a passion project. Is this related to The Northman? The remake of the classic No, it wouldn't be. It's Nosferatu. This is Vampire. 1992 vampire film of the same name. All right. Okay. He's just got some of the same actors in it because Anya Taylor-Joy and I misread that. I apologize. It's Bill Skarsgård and Aaron Taylor-Johnson. I think I said Anya Taylor-Joy by default. It's Aaron Taylor-Johnson. All right. Well, we'll see what he does. This is a very interesting director. I like The Witch. I really like The Northman a lot. I did not see The Lighthouse. I've been told to watch it from several people. My wife refuses to watch this black and white artsy shit from A24. It's a hard thing for me to sell her on, so I'm not going to sit around by myself and watch it. I just have to convince her or wait till she passes out some night. And then we have a TBD here for Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. And that's the last one on the list. Yeah, because we're not really sure when this one's coming out. I don't think it's going to hit 2024 personally. I did not give a box office for any of these. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. What did Sonic 2 make? Sonic 2 box office. Sonic 2 probably made like 600 million or something. Oh, it only made 306 million? I thought there was a bigger draw for these films. Wait, that's Sonic 1. Sonic 2. I said Sonic 2. Why are you not giving me 2? 261 million it's looking like. So not as well as the first. If Jim Carrey's not in the third one, I think it's going to do the worst yet. I'm going to put Sonic at $240 million for the revenue, and I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be better than the second one, which was a little bit of a mess. Nosferatu, I have faith in this director. I think it's also going to be good. I can't give you a price point because I have no idea what these movies make, if anything. Probably like $90 million. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and we have Beyond the Spider-Verse. I thought Across the Spider-Verse was really good. I don't think it's as good as the original. And I thought it was really long, really drawn out. Pun intended, because it's drawn. I mean, it's drawn on the computer, but you get my joke. I'm excited for this one, though. I'm just still like a little bummed that they thought they needed to cut this thing in half. I do think that the second part could have been told faster, and I think that the pacing suffered and the movie suffered because of that slow runtime. We'll see what this third one has to bring to the table. I think it's going to be good still. I really like this franchise as a whole. We'll see. And as far as the revenue goes, what did I think whatever the last one did, we probably can safe to say this one will do too. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse box office. 690 million. Yeah, let's put this final chapter at 630 million. I don't think it's going to do as well as the last one because it's a two-parter situation. You probably lost some people in translation. I think it's still going to do very well, but I'm going to put it a little lower than the last installment. All right. And that's it. So any final super chats, ask me any questions you want, throw out anything you think looks great for 2024. These are the big movies coming out. Of course, there's going to be lots of other films announced for next year, and there will be a lot of smaller films that aren't on this list. This is the big hitters. Interesting enough, not a single Marvel movie coming out next year, except for Deadpool. Nothing else. MCU seems to be taking a break. They're pumping the brakes, and I think that's a good, smart thing to do. Let people miss you for once. I don't want to be sick of the MCU. Let me actually want to appreciate something they put out instead of this dreck they keep throwing on the screen. I think overall pretty optimistic about 2024. A lot of these movies have promise. They show some value. Not a lot of new movies on this list. They almost look like they were all prequels or sequels or sidequels or whatever, remakes, reboots, rebirths, rehashes. Not a lot of originality on this list, but that's, I guess, what we come to expect from these multi-million-dollar big hitters. They're going to try to be as safe as they possibly can. With that, let's look at the super chats for a couple more minutes before I bid you adieu for the weekend. We have another Kyle Nelson, $2 super chat. Thank you, Kyle. The final boss in the new Karate Kid is Will Smith. Whoosh, wax on, whoosh, wax off. That would be great. He just slaps the shit out of him. Big Kahuna for $10. Thank you, Big Kahuna. Appreciate it. Well, with that list, I'm looking at Ghostbusters, Deadpool, and hopefully a new Spider-Verse flick. Otherwise, it looks like I'll put the Infinity Saga on repeat. Yeah. It's not like an amazing looking year for films. Kind of just grazing over it one last time in case any more super chats come in. Coming up, Argyle looks at least interesting. I am excited for Kung Fu Panda 4, taking the kids to that one for sure. Ghostbusters, whatever. We'll see. Could be good. Don't care about anything really coming out in April. Fall Guy, all right. Fall Guy, If has promise. Furiosa has promise. Planet of the Apes, I'm interested in. Ballerina, I'm interested in. Inside Out 2. A Quiet Place prequel. Despicable Me 4. Twisters, we'll see. I like a good natural disaster. Deadpool 3, I'm interested in. Borderlands, we'll see. Craven, God no. Beetlejuice 2, yes. Transformers 1, yes. Joker, we'll see. Terrifier, yes. Venom, go fuck yourself. Wicked, okay, we'll see. There's a good amount of movies. A lot of potential here. A lot of potential. Let me go ahead and hide this. We got a new super chat from Robbie214 for $1.99. Forgot you were going live. Got here late, but hey. Hey, Robbie, you know what? That's actually my fault. I didn't really think I was going to make it tonight because I drove a few hours to see a buddy. We hit up a movie. I wanted to check out his area, see what that part of South Carolina had to offer. And it just kind of lined up with Die Hard that I could see the movie, hang out with him for a while, and make it back here for a stream. So I didn't actually announce the stream or put any thumbnails up or anything until just a few hours before going live. I'm honestly surprised there's the amount of people here that there is. And I appreciate, once again, you guys jumping in on a Friday night and listening to me talk for an hour and a half or so, whatever it's been, hour 20. So yeah, Robbie, you made it. You know, you can always watch these later, these live streams. They stay up. They're encapsulated on YouTube forever. They're crystallized in Ember, and you can chip away and watch if you want, or fast forward if you want. But I appreciate the super chat. Thank you. Big Kahuna for $2. I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. Even the 2016 version, Big Kahuna. I don't even know what to say. I mean, I love the first two movies. I know a lot of people don't like Ghostbusters 2. I like Ghostbusters 2. You got the original cast there. There's still a lot of great jokes. I think Vigo's a great villain. He is freaky as shit to me. That painting disturbs me. it's a good time. Yeah, there's some stuff that doesn't work. It's a little it's very redundant, very repetitive with the ending smashing down with the Statue of Liberty's lame. I'll agree to that. The way they kill the final boss is pretty lame. Overall, though, it's a comedy, and at the end of the day, I laugh a lot. I get a lot from that film, so I'm a very big fan of those movies. As for the 2016 Lady Busters, I don't like that movie. I don't like despise it by any means. I just thought it was just so useless and not in the spirit of actual Ghostbusters. But again, branching out's fine. Doing new things in this Ghostbusters style is fine. We got to have movies about busting ghosts. It just has to happen. It's just maybe call it. Don't try to reboot it. You know, just do different offshoots. I think the biggest insult is that they just called it Ghostbusters and they tried to start their own brand new thing and kind of it was almost not insulting to the past films, but kind of like, we're gonna do away with them, but we're also gonna have the original crew come back and then have them play these really dumb characters. And I don't know, it was a very big, messy marketing ploy, and the final product just was very mediocre, and the humor was not clever. It was very stupid and slapstick. I have a great roast on that movie. I'm very proud of that one. If you watch my roast playlist or go to it, there's some good stuff there, and the Ghostbusters one is pretty fun. Afterlife, whatever. Afterlife's fine. Big Kahuna, last one for $2. Last one, 2016 Ghostbusters in 3D is amazing. Again, if you like the movie, I suppose I will say this: Sony, they're always on the forefront of tech, and the 3D is really their bread and butter. So I would imagine the 3D of that movie, which does look very crisp, would look pretty awesome in 3D, but I don't want to sit through that shit. I don't want to sit through that at all. Avatar 2 looks great in 3D, I'm sure, with the glasses. I mean, I saw it, but at home, I'm sure it would look great in 3D with the glasses. I just don't want to see that shit again either. That movie was terrible. All right, I'll give you guys like 30 more seconds if you have anything to add. Otherwise, I'm going to shut her down and I'm going to freaking hit the sack and then go to bed because I am a tired panda. It's been a long day. And we got stuff to do. Up on the horizon, look for those roasts for Frosty and Rudolph. I'm going to really try to put the pedal to the metal this weekend, get them written, get them shot, and get them edited, and hopefully get both of them out the door next week. A 2 for Fun roast marathon. I will see the upcoming movies that come out and review them. What else do I have on the docket? I have a fucking script I have to get finished before the end of the month. That's my goal, to get my movie script done. I haven't worked on it since the last time I said I worked on it, so I'm flailing here. I got to get to it. Other than that, I think I think that's about it. I think I'm ready to shut her down. It looks like we have one final super chat came in, shot out of a cannon, Robbie, for $1.99. I haven't seen your new lives on Spotify. That's because my last live wasn't really worthy of Spotify. I didn't think. It was very messy. You know, it was more. It just I was kind of all over the place, and I felt like that wasn't one that would fit well there to listen in just an audio format. But maybe it's still worth putting up. I can always put them up there. There's no reason I can't, I suppose, and people don't have to listen. If you'd like to have it up there, I definitely can. This one will go up there, and I have to put my review up there for The Boy and the Heron, I believe. There's a couple things I still have to get. It's tough. It's not like I can just push a button and shoot them out to all these different places. You have to actually manually upload the video. And when I do the live to Spotify, I edit out certain sections so that it sounds better and it flows better. It's not just an easy, quick thing. It all takes little incremental bits of time. So putting out a short on a video takes time because I have to find the 30-second or 1-minute clip that I think will work well for engagement and to get people to subscribe to the channel. So I have to take the time to listen to my shit, find the spots, edit them down, put it in mobile mode in the aspect ratio, upload it to Instagram, make a fucking reel cover for Instagram, upload it to TikTok, get all the tags in place and the descriptions, upload it to this place and that place, and before you know it, it's like an hour just to do uploads and descriptions and thumbnails. It's a lot of work. But it's the grind. That's the grind we all do. I think we all have multiple jobs in this day and age, or at least most do, if they want to really kind of get ahead and have it all, as they say. All right, after that little rant, I'm going to shut her down. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Thank you for the super chats. I appreciate the support. It's been a great year. It's been a lot of growth. We'll go over that at the end of the year, or maybe at the beginning of January. We'll look back and we'll see, wow, look where we started and where we came. It's been a wild ride, and we're going to do even better. And guess what? I might have something actually in the works with Chandler and with Cody Leach. We might have a three-way movie talk on Cody's channel or on Sean's. I don't know. They're kind of working things out. They said that I'm invited to it, and we're going to talk the state of movies, the industry, and whatnot. So that's possibly happening soon. I'm just excited to get in front of their audience and hopefully pull some of them over here instead of just kind of pushing mine over there. Let's return the favor. And so I'm very thankful if we get that accomplished. Okay, I'm rambling. Thanks for listening and watching, and I hopefully will see you very soon. Take care.